You probably have never wanted to have more discipline. Said no one ever, right? Especially my entrepreneurial clients that I work with. We all battle with the struggle to be more disciplined for various reasons. It's usually attributed to building new habits. That's what I found for most of my clients. But for me, I've been struggling with creating more discipline to actually wake up earlier every day. So if you too are trying to build more discipline, you might want to listen to what I have to say, because the habits that I've discovered to allow me to wake up at 5 a.m. might be something that can help you too. Or you can choose to remain the way that I used to feel, angry, frustrated, berating myself for not doing enough throughout the day. Yeah, not the best way to go to sleep every single night. Not to mention how to start your day. Because I had this tendency to berate myself for waking up just 15 minutes late. So don't think that you're alone with being so critical of yourself. Everyone has something to work on here. So let's get this started, and let me share with you what is working for me and tips that you can do to implement into other disciplines in your life. But before we begin, let's take a second and please hit that like button for me. You wouldn't believe what it takes for me to record these. These actually take me a few hours to write these and record them. So if you could please take a second, hit that like button. That would help me, and it's a way that you can contribute back to me. So thank you so much. Okay, first, let's start with getting on the same page of what exactly is discipline. Well, luckily for us and me, that the dictionary is a lot smarter than me, and it says discipline: the practice of training oneself to adhere to a set of rules, principles, or routines in order to achieve specific goals or desired outcomes. Good to know. So if you're like me and most of my clients, it's easy for us to say what it is that we want to do. But the hard part is actually taking consistent action, right? That was really the big missing link for me and most of the clients I work with. So I realized I was letting my feelings dictate my decisions. And then those decisions decided my actions, right? But more specifically, I wanted to wake up earlier. But when my alarm would go off at 5 a.m., my body and my feelings were awake with me. And they would tell me, hey, let's stay in bed a little bit longer, right? And they reminded me that, hey, you're tired, go back to sleep. So of course, those feelings made sense, and I listened to them. And I'd close my eyes and I'd go right back to sleep. But the crazy thing is I started to realize I was just kind of kicking the can down the road. Because after I woke up later, I didn't have time for my quiet time, nor did I have time to do my meditation, to journal, go on my morning run, and I just wake up and I go straight to work. And just like those feelings in the morning that convinced me to stay in bed, the feelings of regret, frustration, disappointment, and judgment were waiting for me under my covers every single night to tuck me in. And it's so crazy to think that I would forget about these feelings that come after the feelings that helped me make the decision to keep sleeping, right? So with the feelings of despair and frustration, I kind of started to figure out this whole journey, because I did not want to feel that way anymore. I wanted to end this vicious cycle that I was in. So throughout my journey, I tried so many strategies, trust me. And I did the writing out my goals. I did the thing where I planned out my day ad nauseum. I put in like every 10 minutes what I'm going to do. And these things were good, and they worked initially. But the novelty eventually faded after a couple weeks, and this is what I see with my clients time and time again. And after about a couple weeks, we always revert back to our old habits. So I'm not even going to talk about what didn't work, because who cares, right? I want to talk about what is working for me right now to wake up at 5 a.m. So if you want to hear, this is what my routine looks like. So first, it goes like this. My alarm goes off first thing in the morning at 5 a.m. The first thing I do is I acknowledge the desire to stay in bed. But I don't stop there. The old me would have stopped there and been like, awesome, you're tired, go back to sleep. But I remind myself of the meaningful activities that I actually be giving up if I stay in bed, okay? Then I bring in the feelings that I will have later for not doing those meaningful activities like meditating, journaling, running. And then the cherry on top is that I remind myself that all these activities are actually the things that my ideal version would do. So now I take all this information, instead of just the feelings that say, oh, you're tired, go to sleep. I take all this information and I ask myself these two final questions. These ones are huge. The first question I ask is, will I regret it if I keep sleeping? Will I regret it if I keep sleeping? The answer to that is usually yes. I will regret it if I keep sleeping. Okay, first question. Second question. Then I ask myself, will I regret it if I wake up right now? Okay, you get that? Will I regret it if I wake up right now? And the answer is usually no. So now I end it with a countdown because I know this is what I want to do. So I do what I got from Mel Robbins. I do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I get one leg out of bed. And I don't lie to myself that this is going to be easy or it's going to be enjoyable. But I remind myself that this is actually a characteristic. This is so much more than just one action. This is me working on a characteristic of the person that I aspire to be. And it's amazing because it compounds, because this also moves me one step closer to my goals, which I want to talk about the definition of discipline once again. Okay? I don't know if you remember, but discipline is a set of rules, routines, or principles. Okay? So, rules. What is acceptable and what is not acceptable? Is waking up at 5 a.m. 5 days of the week acceptable, or is 7 days acceptable? Know what your rules are. The next one is routine. How are you going to do it? And the other thing I want to add to this is I want you to acknowledge the feelings. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't lie to yourself and be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so happy to wake up at 5 a.m. because it's never the case. Trust me. Don't sugarcoat it. Let yourself know how you're going to feel, but remind yourself why you're doing it and be honest with yourself. And the last one is principles. And this is where you can figure out who you want to become and what does that version of yourself that you want to become, what would they do in this situation? Because this is an opportunity for you to show up as that type of person today, okay? And I found out for myself, if I spend some time mapping all these things down, right? What are the rules? What am I going to do? What's my routine? And who do I actually want to be, right? Rules, routine, principle. Once I mapped all these out, my success rate is so much higher because I actually have an easy to follow plan, right? Rather than just relying on my feelings at that specific moment. I now have this game plan for successful discipline. So the other thing that I want to let you guys know is that's working really well is to not say you're going to do these things forever. I don't want to go into the psychology on this, but literally our brains are programmed to protect us. So set yourself for small goals. If you say you're going to do something forever, your brain freaks out and says that's not possible. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that it's going to tell you not to do it. So set yourself up with small goals. And I do it for just 5 days. I tell myself I'm going to do this for 5 days. And after 5 days, I get to re-up that contract for the following week. Okay? So start with something small. Okay? Otherwise, your brain is going to freak out and it doesn't want to be tied down to forever. And don't think that you have to do this forever. Do it as a season. Say, hey, you know what? I'm going to try this for 30 days. And after 30 days, we'll see what happens. Okay? So try that out. Try all the things. Figure out your rules. Figure out your routine. Figure out your principle. And let me know down in the comments what area of your life you're struggling to gain more discipline. And don't forget to like this video and share with someone that's in the same boat. Also, don't forget to join my free Facebook group to connect with other like-minded individuals that are implementing all kinds of discipline. That's it for now. Cheers to you, and cheers to your change.